Tapu, Assalamu alaikum, Namaste, Haru Nefer. May Buddha bless you. This is Qesankh Keperu with another exciting video for you. In this video, we're going to talk about how to awaken the power of Ausar. But before we get to that, I want you to hit the like button on this video. And if this is your first time to my channel, hit the subscribe button to get notifications on when I go live and when I upload recorded videos. If you're looking to learn more about my spiritual teachings, you can download an ebook and start reading right away. They're free. Just scroll down below, click on the links, and you'll be reading an ebook before you know it. However, if you want to take your lessons to the next level, you can become a Patreon supporter for as little as $1, $5, or $20 per month. It's up to you. You can cancel anytime. And you'll get exclusive access to my instructional videos, videos on the esoteric, videos on the spiritual, such as how to meditate, proper breathing exercises, how to contact the ancestors, or how to get spirits to protect you. You'll also find videos on self-hypnosis, how to get rid of negative habits, videos on divination, how to work with the oracle systems, and so much more. So become a Patreon supporter. Last but not least, share this video with family and friends so we can get the revolution started. So Haru Nefer to you all. Sorry I have not made a video in a little bit. I've been extremely busy. It's just been like really crazy. Lots been going on. And it's a lot of good stuff that I'll fill you guys in on. I have an event that's coming up here in Vegas. So we're getting prepared for that event here in Vegas. You're more than happy to attend if you want, or if you can. Details will be provided later, like I said. And then a lot of other great stuff has been going on. But I wanted to talk to you specifically about some things that really have been disturbing me. I remember when I was in priesthood, and there would be people who would talk about leaving priesthood. And the king would always say, well, what's waiting for you in the outside world? Nothing but Sahu people. And in the Kemetic language, when you say someone is Sahu, it means that they're operating off their animal spirit and not their higher intellect. You know, their primitive emotions. And the Egyptians anthropomorphized these in terms of like the deities. You know, you'll see some deities that have the head of a hawk or a calf and a body of a man or a woman. So this is just to indicate an animal quality. And the goal of what our existence is to rise above that and allow Ausar, the intelligence within us, to rise. You see, we're dominated by the reptilian and mammalian brain, and the goal is to rise above that to think out of the neocortex. And also, let me explain this so we have a clear understanding. Because we're in a very regressed state. And the ruling elite has kept us in that state on purpose. They've retarded our progress intellectually. They don't want us to become spiritual beings. So they have created these major Western religions like Islam. Well, I won't say it's major Western, but it was taken from a Western religion. Catholicism, Judaism, and Christianity. And the things that those religions preach are so detrimental to you that really destroy you as a human being. Case in point, look at the way the world is. Those religions have not solved any problems. They've made things worse by creating holy wars, having us given to fear and materialism. They have not solved any problems. They've only created problems. And they weren't designed to solve any problems. You see, those religions are predicated upon you doing something good, a physical act, a gesture. But what they don't do is have you transform from within, to become a better person from within, and it be a genuine transformation. As far as those religions are concerned, if you accept Muhammad or accept Jesus and you're saved and everything's okay, and that's not the case. There are some pretty horrific people who on the outside look to be acting altruistic, but on the inside, they're very corrupt people. You know, so Many of our presidents, who on the outside, the media plays a part in this, looks like they're doing really good things, like spreading democracy and helping the American people, but they're some of the most evil, corrupt human beings on the face of the planet. You see, the media conspires with them to paint this picture as if third world countries are in the situation they are in because they're not intellectually apt. They can't keep up with the United States, when in fact we've sent jackals into these third world countries to topple their governments, to destroy their economy, so that we can put in place a puppet leader. We've engaged in assassinations to go in there and assassinate democratically elected leaders. And then our media works and conspires to make it seem like these countries are in havoc. They're in a state of chaos. We've caused that chaos on purpose to get control of their centralized banking systems. But I digress. So I want you to understand that trying to solve the problems that we're facing by using external means alone won't do it. Because when you start to understand who you are, and the Kemetic people said, know thyself, you start to realize the enormous amount of power that you have at your fingertips, which is Ausar within you. Ausar and Aset were the inspiration for Jesus and Mary. That story was plagiarized from the Kemetic scriptures. And I want you to understand that the world that you see is full of Sahu people, evil, corrupt people. And I'm talking about your best friends, your mother, your sister, your father. They're Sahu, because they have not learned to transcend their emotions. We're always running away from pain in search of pleasure. We're always searching for materialistic things to patch up the hole within us, that missing thing within us. And materialism can't do that. But this world conspires to feed you misinformation, to keep you acting emotional. Do you understand? So I'm sorry to say that when you wake up in the morning, look in the mirror, you're looking at Sahu. Unless you have become Ausar, you are Sahu, acting out of your instinctive animalistic emotions, which was a story of Ausar and Aset, where Haru had the battle set, the animal aspect of himself, and to become victorious, to give resurrection to Ausar, to give resurrection to the God within you, not the God externally, because there is no external things or external God. That's an illusion. You would not believe the amount of manipulation, the amount of subliminal messaging to get you to act contrary to life-affirming affirmations and ideas that this country gets into. Pure systematic manipulation in the commercials and the movies and the TV. Right now, most of the movies they're pumping out, they're trying to devalue the worth of men, prop up the worth of women to create a gender war. They're trying to create a race war. It's insane. But these are insane people we're dealing with here. They're not sane individuals. They're sick individuals that want you to be just as sick. See, the goal and what we don't understand. You think that you are right now? No, there was a better version of yourself. You see, humanity has gone through different iterations due to social engineering. They're trying to condition us to become satanic. And they're doing a good job. They're succeeding. Because every generation, we get more sick and more perverted. And it becomes normalized. The dysfunctionalism becomes normalized because we become used to the dysfunctionalism because they feed it to us in increments. David Icke's the totalitarian tiptoe. They can't just throw it all in your face, expose their agenda. You see, Hollywood talks about diversity, but Hollywood is a big liar. If you look at Hollywood films that claim to be diverse and woke and all about identity politics and SJW, they've engaged in even worse stereotypes. Even worse. Because their goal is not diversity. Their goal is to convert you into the LGBTQ agenda. Their goal is to make you satanically sick, to eventually one day accept the fact that being a pedophile is okay. This is where they're going. They are, through the process of social engineering, crafting us to be a certain type of a person. And I'm going to be honest with you. We have become some of the sickest, corrupt people. And I'm not just talking about the ruling elite, I'm talking about us in general. The way that we, and especially minority people, the way that we backstab each other, how jealous we are. I saw on social media where this gentleman had become a very, very successful YouTuber, practically overnight. And every other minority channel came out to slam him, to say negative things about him, to say that he plagiarized their material. I couldn't believe what I was witnessing. The crabs in the barrel. We are a sick people. And it just takes a little thing to trigger it, and you'll see it. And I've always said this from the beginning, that the ruling elite has injected a criminal element into the minority community, meaning that we have a criminal mindset. We're okay with doing certain things. And then we fight for the dysfunctionalism. We fight to be dysfunctional. This one YouTube brother was talking all about sports and entertainment, and he's supposed to be a business channel. I went to that brother and said, brother, you never talk about black businessmen, legit black businessmen, legit black inventors. All you're doing is feeding our people a steady diet of sports and entertainment. That's not real business. The majority of people will never succeed in the entertainment game. So I said, you're helping to foster a corrupt mindset. You're helping the ruling elite. Well, he can't teach what he doesn't know, so he doesn't understand. He couldn't name like Byron Allen as a billionaire. All he could say was Jay-Z, as if Jay-Z is the only black billionaire out there. But this is how warped our mindset. Every time that we come together to talk about things, instead of using an analogy from history or from noted black inventors, we use analogies from sports, from the rap game, because we're ignorant. We're ignorant people. And the worst thing about it is we're cocky in our ignorance. I spoke on a panel. It was an all-black group. And I made the mistake of mentioning hypnosis. No one had an idea of what that was. I said, how could this be? And not only that, we're very myopic in our thinking, because we don't travel the world. We don't make it a point to expand our thinking. When I first started my channel, I started talking about things like implants, alternate states of consciousness, parallel universes. I thought everybody understood that. But the people who were the early adopters were Latino brothers and sisters, the Latin brothers and sisters, the African-American so-called ADOS had no idea what I was talking about and pushed back against it. Then want to go and call you names. Primitive people, primitive thinking. But this is what's been done to us to make us this way. And I totally get it and I totally understand it. But there comes a point in time where you can liberate yourself. 40 effective gram of the I-ching, deliverance. We don't need to be this way. And we're choosing to be this way because we're glorifying ignorance and dysfunctionalism. Cardi B is an example of ignorance and dysfunctionalism that we glorify. Don't act like we don't, because we do. Megan Thee Stallion is just disgusting dysfunctionalism. Jay-Z is dysfunctionalism. I'm sorry, you sold drugs. That was wrong. So we're not going to put you up on a pedestal. We're not going to give you any money for what you did to get to where you are. Because you're a person who believes the ends justify the means. There are people that you've hurt in doing and selling the drugs. But we don't care because, again, there's a certain criminal element to our mindset. Sha'Carri Richardson trained hard, studied hard to get a shot at the Olympics, and she threw it all away by smoking weed. And you have people coming out trying to defend her. She broke the law. She broke, well, not the law in this case, but she broke the rules. Or in some states, it's the law. She broke the rules. She committed a violation. There is no defending her. There is no debate about this. She's an embarrassment. She's a walking stereotype. And I have nothing against her personally, but our efforts and our energy can be put into uplifting people who are trying to do something righteous out there. But we're so screwed up in our mindset, we defend criminals. And I'm sorry if this clashes with your established belief, but when you break the rules, you break the rules. And you have to abide by the consequences. You have got to divorce yourself of this world and everything in it to seek out a higher truth. Well, what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is that you have extraordinary powers within you that you have not tapped into. I saw the police coming to arrest this young girl in a supermarket because she was being disruptive, and she's yelling and screaming, acting all animalistic and everything when she could have been calm about it. And I said, if she were educated properly as what our ancestors would have done, she would have known that she could tap into the power within her to deal with this situation with the police. Instead, she wanted to focus on external means to address the situation by yelling and screaming and acting out. And part of that is they know that the ruling elite are not going to punish Black women because they want Black women to act in a certain way, which is primarily to not be held accountable for their actions and to attack Black men in every way, shape possible. They want to use Black men as the proxy to get to, use Black women as a proxy to get to Black men. And I want to ask Black men, please stop talking about sports and entertainment and rap. Please stop talking about that and start reading books and start becoming a worldly man. I remember it really shocked me. I was supposed to have a business lunch with two brothers, and we sat there, and through the whole lunch, it was only an hour, all they could talk about was basketball. I was in utter shock. But this is programming. This is conditioning. You have to understand that you cannot act in a certain way when you're at war. You see, the enemy has their weapons pointed towards you. To give you a Star Trek analogy, you have not sounded the red alert. You have not put up your shields. You've done nothing. You can't act in certain ways like that when you're at war. And we're singing and dancing as if there's no such thing as oppression or racism. Those individuals that stormed the White House did so because they knew that they were being oppressed. They were being marginalized. These were trailer park white trash, and they knew that there was no one speaking for them. So what did they do? They stormed the White House. I'm not saying it was right, but they took action, and they knew they had to do something. Versus what we're doing is nothing. Taking nothing serious. We don't even protect our own religion of Ausar. We just let white people, Muslims come in and take it. The Muslims, the Arabs already destroyed the pyramids. Capstone is gone, missing. No one knows where that's at. They removed the bricks off the pyramid, took all of the artifacts, put them in museums in England. Why would we allow them to do this? The Jews would allow them to do that in Israel. So why do we allow? Because we don't covet. We don't value our own religious systems, even though we have the best in the planet. And I'm sorry to say this, but those Christians who go to church, black Christians, and David Icke said this, he's a white man, said it was disgusting to see black people go to a Christian church and worship the very religion that oppressed them. That religion itself wiped out the Native Americans and enslaved us. And for you to go to a church every Sunday to worship that, the patron of that religion, the patron of that religion is disgusting. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. For you to sit there and read from the Bible, the very same book they use to exploit your people, enslave your people, and kill your people. Do you know the slave ships? Well, the first slave ship was named Jesus. And on the slave ships, they would bring the slaves out and they would read verses from the Bible. If that's not hypocrisy, if that's not disgusting, I don't know what is. But and you participate in that. And that religion is specifically constructed to oppress you and take away your power. This is the secret that you need to be aware of and you need to spread the word about. You see, we may call it the subconscious mind, the spirit, Ausar, whatever it is, but it is a very powerful tool that when given commands will act accordingly. If you are sick and you give yourself the right affirmations and commands, you can heal yourself. If you're suffering from depression, if you give yourself the right post-hypnotic commands, you can heal yourself. If you need a little extra money, you can attract that money by simply giving your subconscious mind certain commands to bring you the money you need, to bring you the job you need, to bring you the mate you need. I said this to a woman. She says, you know, so you go out, you go up to women? What do you say when you go up to them and talk to them? I said, I don't go up to women. They come to me because I know how to program my spirit, my subconscious mind to attract women to come to me. And I gave this in the acting course I used to teach about how you shouldn't be running out there trying to find an agent or a producer or an investor. You can have them come to you if you understand synchronicity and you understand the power of your spirit. When you understand the fundamental truth that everything is Maya and illusion, and that's your reality, and you're creating this holographic universe, then you understand that you control each and every person. And those who are in the background are non-principal players. Those who are in the foreground, you can directly manipulate and control. And I've been teaching this, and I've been teaching this, and it's been falling on deaf ears. People are not getting this because they're still using physical means to solve their problems. Oh, well, I need an agent. I'm going to go to this networking event. No, you don't need to go to a networking event. If you sit and meditate and you see yourself with an agent, the agent will come to you. That's a better position to be in than you trying to go out there and chase down an agent. Do you know why you got a screwed up mate? Because you're screwed up. You've attracted this very same energy that you're putting off. Sit down and ask the spirit to bring you a good mate. Sit down and ask the spirit to bring you an extra $1,000 next month. And watch the magic happen. That's the power you have inside of you that they're trying to oppress or suppress. That's the truth. They don't want you to know that you're a God man, God woman, and that you have these extraordinary powers to where you can control the physical realm. They don't want you to understand that. Don't you get it? They have gone through, and I'm going to say this, and you must understand it is the truth. They have gone through the history books and deleted. First they redacted it, then they deleted it. All the instances of all the historical characters using magic. They have deleted it from all the history books. They did it on purpose. So you would never understand that you can get yourself out of these situations using magic. I am not kidding you. Stop fighting against something. You are living a lie. And you're perpetuating the current system. Don't you see what you're doing? You're playing a role in the downfall of humanity by going along with this corrupt system. Well, you think Shakara Richards to be allowed to be in the Olympics? Okay, it's perfectly fine. Sit down and meditate and see them allowing her into the Olympics. Stop running your mouth about it. It's your reality. If you want her to go to the Olympics, she can go. Told you in the beginning that Black Lives Matter was a facade. It was funded by the ruling elite. It was controlled opposition. You want to change things and have black men stop being killed and shot down by the police? Sit down and meditate. See the world that you want and watch the change happen. Watch the magic happen. So while I am talking, please hit the like button. And please, now that we're monetized again, hit that super chat button and donate and contribute to the channel, please. And Isis, thank you for Your contribution is appreciated. Thank you so much. You're living in a world that doesn't work. It's predicated upon left brain thinking and an absence of contextual thinking or relational thinking. Everything is presented to you one-sided and no context to it. And you've been trained to think that way. Verse, meaning your left brain polarized thinking only, which means you're schizophrenic. You're sick. And I'm not kidding. You are sick because you have been trained to think in a way that doesn't work. See, our ancestors thought holistically. And they play this game with you. They know about relational thinking. A cop shoots a young man and they're like, you want justice, right? But then now all of a sudden they want to interject relational thinking and say, well, we don't know what provoked the police officer. We got to see more footage. We got to wait to don't pass judgment so early on. They know relational thinking. They get into that mode when they want to protect one of their own. Meanwhile, they want to castrate you. Oh, well, he's selling drugs or he's addicted to drugs. Put him away. But wait a minute, who put the drugs in the community? CIA. Who took away the jobs, forcing that young man to sell drugs as the only means to feed his family? The American system. Who has the criminal law system that is unequal and puts black men away more than it does white men? American system. But you don't get into that relational contextual thinking then, do you? We can't think like the herd. We can't be the sheeple. You've got to think differently. You've got to realize who you are and what your power is and start exercising that. And then watch the magic happen. And then one day you wake up and say, oh my God, Qesankh was right all along. You know how many calls I get or emails I get from people saying, you were right all along. Your news media doesn't report the news. It's just there for propaganda. It manipulates you. It lies. Its primary purpose is to keep you in a matrix. It doesn't want you to think outside the box. It doesn't want you to think differently. The religions are there to keep you into left brain thinking, to make you believe that those books are historical books and not full of analogies. Because those religions keep you left brain thinking, keeps you psychotic. I want you to start to meditate every day and meditate on the world that you want. Meditate on the things in life that you want. And see it come to fruition. You don't always have to engage in Cartesian logic, which says apples to apples, oranges to oranges, meaning that if you want more money, work more hours at work. You don't have to do that. You can meditate and see yourself coming into money and watch it happen. You can meditate and see your aunt being well and watch it happen. You can meditate on seeing your son or daughter do well in school and watch it happen. This is the power that you have. But they're not going to tell you that. They will not tell you that. But Before they reveal that secret, they'll tell you they're aliens in outer space. And I'm not kidding you. They'll rather tell you there's aliens in outer space than tell you the truth about who you are. Come on, guys. Please donate to the super chat. Donations are appreciated. So I want you to be a trailblazer, be an early adopter, and start thinking, this religion is my religion. And I hate to call it a religion, we can call it spirituality. And I'm going to hold on to it as if it was sacred. I'm going to stop going along with what everybody else is doing and start looking at things from a different perspective. Remember, it's your reality. You're the only one in this reality. Everyone else is just an avatar, a holographic projection for you to learn from, for you to interact with. I know that's a tough pill to swallow, but everyone is there to teach you to awaken your power, to teach you to engage with the truth. And above all, try to live Ma'at. Ma'at is not just living truth. Ma'at is holistic thinking. Which they don't want you to engage in either. But if you look at all the great people of history, Imhotep, Nikola Tesla, you'll see that these geniuses were holistic thinkers. And you'll see all the warmongers were left brain, polarizing left brain thinking. And isn't it very interesting that all the religions that are holistic, a whole brain thinking, never started a war, never massacred people, were, for the most part, very peaceful religions that focused on meditation and enlightenment. And all the left brain religions, Islam, Judaism, Catholicism, Christianity, all started wars, holy wars, murdered millions of people. Do you see the correlation? Do you understand? And when you start to meditate, not only do you gain power over the physical realm, it increases your intelligence. You'll start to, your third eye will start to awaken and you'll start to see things differently. You'll start to see how people really are, Sahu. And you'll wonder why, how you went along with this. You see that you have to divorce yourself from certain friends, certain family members, because of how they act and how they think. You'll see the level of ignorance that they're about. I can't function in that environment. I cannot function around people who thinking is so ignorant. Oh, I got a collection of Jordans. You got to see my Jordans. This is very ignorant, primitive thinking. You know what I mean? To value something that's so worthless as a sneaker. And they're really just pulling a con game on you. Overpriced sneakers put together in child labor factories overseas, violating labor laws. They couldn't do that here, so they have to go overseas to do it because there's no labor laws for children over there. We have, before we start looking at the ruling elite, we have to look at ourselves and say we have become a corrupt people, corrupt to the core. Told a friend I went to travel all across the country to these film festivals. And I came back and he says, what do you think? I said, we have no vision. We lack the understanding of film. We produce the same garbage over and over again. Everyone's a thug. Everyone's in the hood. And he thought I was joking until he went on the film festival circuit, came back, and he says, you were right. We perpetuate our own stereotypes. We're doing the work for the ruling elite. I was looking at some films coming out of Nigeria. Those brothers and sisters out there have produced some great work. I mean, they have no money, and you can see the films are very low budget, but the creative ingenuity is amazing. While we're here in America, and we have access to all types of resources, producing garbage. Tyler Perry, listen, I admire the fact that he became a billionaire. I know why he became a billionaire, but that's another story. He produces, his films are horrible, but yet we pay and support those types of films. You know what I'm saying? He couldn't be in existence if it wasn't for us supporting his films, which are horrible. Horrible. BET is a horrible station, pushing out their degenerate propaganda to Black people. And now white people know what time it is, because now white people are protesting. They're talking about how bad modern media has become, and they're right. They're right. White people are talking about how modern media is out to attack the white male, and they're right. It is out to attack the white male. And I'm glad people are speaking up about that. But we have to speak up too about what the media is doing to the Black male image. See, the white conspiracy theorists are on the right track in talking about the plan of the ruling elite, what they're going to do. But where they're missing the mark is not understanding that through social engineering, the majority of us are just programs. Faulty programs. And we have a virus. We're not operating correctly. But we were designed that way, to malfunction. Because that's the way the program wants the MCU wants these programs to operate. To move us to eventually to a reality where we've accepted Satanism and our own enslavement. This is why George Orwell wrote 1984. Aldous Huxley wrote A Brave New World to forecast and warn us about the impending doom. But if you are coveting the spiritual system of our ancestors, the Ausar Set religion, you will eventually shift to a new reality, a better reality, one where you're using your power within to create a better world. Not everything is done through protests. And we've seen that hasn't been effective. Oh, but they want us to protest. Because they know while we're protesting, we're not engaged in anything else that could bring about real change, you see. So they encourage us to protest. And they lead us in that direction. Just like they say, you must vote. Exercise your vote. It's your right. Vote or die. But when you're presenting two options only, bad and worse, you have no real freedom of choice. The deck is stacked against you. They've set you up. This is why Hollywood for a long time has engaged in propaganda against non-traditional, non-Western religions to make them seem evil, satanic, devil worship. When they weren't really about that. Those religions were never about that. Yeah, they're going to talk about how voodoo is black magic, but they never want to talk about how Christianity wiped out Native Americans just because Native Americans said, we won't accept your religion. Just because Native American says, no, you can't have our land. But yet they prop up Christianity, and then they call a Native American shaman evil, primitive. How does that work? That's some propaganda, man. That's some strong propaganda. Anyway, don't forget, hit the like button, donate to the channel. We thank you all for tuning in. This is Qesankh Ma Keperu, son of Ma'an Tahuti. Ma'at is a beautiful goddess, Helaru. Until the next video, Amun Ra.